Hey guys, what is going on? Welcome back to my Robinhood portfolio. Today I'd like to talk about another special dividend, this time with the stock TSR Incorporated. This comes in response to a few viewers asking what the whole point of capturing special dividends is if the dividend is going to be taken out of the stock price and ultimately you won't make a return because that dividend is simply taken out of that stock price. So I thought I'd take the example of TSRI here. It has a special dividend coming up and kind of talk through a number of different ways in which an investor can take advantage of special dividends. You can see this current stock price here, $7.17. And if you see in the middle here, TSR has announced $1 per share special dividend to be paid out on the 14th of July. If we take a look at the Yahoo information regarding the stock, you can see here $1 per share with respect to its common stock payable July 14th to stockholders of record as of June 16th. And as you guys know, and as I have talked about on numerous occasions, the ex-dividend date is 2 days prior to the record date. So that's really when the shareholder's name is recorded as regards to who is eligible for the dividend. So essentially an ex-dividend date on the 14th. So you have to hold this stock on the beginning of trading on the 14th. So buy this prior to that on the 13th or prior. And that really brings up one of the ways in which a special dividend can be played. So in the weeks leading up to the ex-dividend date, typically the stock price trends up. There's a real good possibility that if you know about this special dividend in advance, you can go ahead and buy that stock, and as the price of the stock trends up, you can sell at any time to make that capital appreciation. And you can see here that has happened with this particular stock here. So it may be a little bit too late to buy the stock with regards to playing the dividend capture in that strategy, because you can see here this stock has trended up 19.58% over the last 1 week alone. Over the last 1 month, 44.94%. So if you knew about this special dividend in advance, you can jump in at any point during this uptick here and really sell off for a good profit here regardless of the ex-dividend date. So you don't really have to capture that dividend. You'd make a good return just looking at the buildup of the price up to the ex-dividend date. And a lot of investors try to play the stock that way. BOBE, a stock that I just put out a couple videos with regards to its special dividend. A lot of investors did that. Simply bought prior to the ex-dividend date, weeks in advance, and as that stock neared its ex-dividend date, the price trended up, and investors simply sold off before the ex-dividend date for a nice profit. So that's one way in which investors can make a good profit, and a TSRI here is a good example of that, leading up to the ex-dividend date here, and there's still 2 or 3 weeks to go, so it might not be too late, but investors who jumped in, over this last week or so already have made a very, very good profit, so they can sell off, lock in that profit, and buy back if they want for the special dividend. But that's one way in which investors play the ex-dividend date with regards to special dividends. There is a buildup in the stock price. You can buy weeks in advance. As it builds up, you can sell off, lock in that profit, and you really don't even have to wait for that special dividend, the ex-dividend date, to lock in that dividend. You simply made a good return on that buildup. So I may do that with this stock. This stock's a little bit peculiar, though. It's a very low cap stock here. You can see the market cap's only 14.08 million. Its volume is very, very low as well, 5,832 shares. And the other caveat behind this stock is that apparently there's a takeover proposal in effect right now. So that might also be driving the stock price in a similar fashion to the ex-dividend date for a special dividend. So a very unique stock here. Just wanted to talk about one of the strategies in which to play special dividend. The other strategy would be to simply hold it until the ex-dividend date, and then typically there's a nice little bounce on the ex-dividend date. The stock price does decrease by the amount of the dividend, but it typically trends up, and as it trends up, you can sell off and really make that difference between the stock price and the dividend. And again, it's not going to be the full value of that dividend. For this stock right now, $1 for $7 is really around 14% or so. So you're not going to make the full 14% on capturing that dividend with the stock price bouncing back up after the ex-dividend date. But you can make 2, 3, 4, 5%, which is a very, very good trade for holding the stock essentially maybe a day if you buy right before the ex-dividend day. So those are two main strategies, main ways in which investors try to take advantage of special dividends. again, buying weeks to months in advance, hoping that the stock will trend up as it gets closer to the ex-dividend date. And the other one would be buying before the stock goes ex-dividend, and then selling off on the bounce when it opens. The stock market automatically decreases the price of the stock by the dividend, but it typically bounces up a bit, trends up a bit after the ex-dividend date adjustment, and investors can sell off and make the difference between the dividend and the stock price. So I hope that all makes sense. If you guys have any questions about that, leave it in the comment threads below. And kind of with that, I'll end the video. As always, if you guys enjoy my videos, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Building the channel, really appreciate your guys' support. And again, if you guys have any good stock ideas, any good video ideas, any good investment strategies, let me know, and I'll do a little bit of reading about that and put out a video about those topics. So again, a couple different ways to play a special dividend with regards to ex-dividend date. Again, if you guys have any questions, let me know. And until